This is often referred to as the Playboy Prince. Andrew Windsor is visibly shaken, slumped in the back seat of his Range Rover. This photo was taken by Reuters photographer Phil Noble, and now it has gone viral on social media. This picture is probably a testament that it is for the first time in modern history when a senior royal is being treated as a common criminal. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has now been released under investigation after being in custody for around 11 hours. This means that he has neither been charged nor exonerated. Andrew is allowed to leave police custody while the police continue investigating his alleged offence. But Windsor has not been charged or placed on bail. Let's look at the charges against Andrew. The current police investigation is not related to any allegation of sexual impropriety revealed from the Epstein files. The charge actually involves the suspicion of committing misconduct in public office. The Thames Valley Police Force, which covers areas west of London, including Mountbatten Windsor's former home, is investigating these claims. Specifically, they are looking at while serving as the UK's trade envoy, Andrew actually shared sensitive information with disgraced financier and child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A statement released by Assistant Chief Constable Oliver Wright said, and I quote here, "Following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office. We understand the significant public interest in this case, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time." Police officers searched multiple properties linked to Andrew following his arrest. At the Sandringham estate on February 19th, searches at the property in Norfolk, Andrew's home, and another have now concluded. Although Andrew has since been released, searches are continuing at a linked address in Berkshire. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth, has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to Jeffrey Epstein and has previously said that he regrets their friendship. But he has not spoken publicly since the release of millions of pages of documents by the US government relating to Epstein. After Windsor's arrest, these were the two big statements. This is what his brother, King Charles, had to say. "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter." US President Donald Trump, on the other hand, has called it very, very sad while defending his own image. Let's in fact listen in.
Obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was...
Now, Andrew's release does not bring the investigation to a close. Police have confirmed that inquiries remain ongoing, with searches continuing at properties linked to him. While no charges have been filed at this stage, investigators are still assessing evidence and further action has not been ruled out. Let's discuss this further with Mark Sutherland, who is a geopolitical commentator who's joining us live from London. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to NewsX. We appreciate your time. So first of all, when we speak of this entire incident, obviously it's marked something that people have not seen in over 400 years. A former prince being treated like a common criminal. And then we have King Charles III's statement, which is saying that the law will take its own course. We do not have anything to say right now. This seems to be some sort of a departure. Earlier, we used to see the royal family always try to, protect their own. How are you looking at this situation that has developed, and also this slight shift in policy that we are also noticing, sir?
Good to be with you, and also compliment you on your summary there and in introduction. The issue is this, as you have laid out, that the reason why he has been arrested is the concerns of his actions in regard to public office when he is a trade emissary, trade envoy for UK PLC. That is what the focus is on, as you have also laid out. It's in this social media age, in the age that we have had well and truly since 1997, where we have the internet, we have access to information in a way that we never have done. This is very, very important, because people are digging to get the facts. When you also look at Andrew Lowney, historian, his recent book that will be revised about some of these issues, this is also very important. As he would say in his words, it's important that people look him up, that he has been trying to expose this, that people have tried to stop him from exposing this. When people are in the position of Prince Andrew, as he was formerly known, of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince, we are asking them to have, that we think that they are representing us on the stage, not with the accusations of using those positions for their own benefit. That is also has ramifications within our political system. That's what's going. That is why also Peter Mandelson has had his house searched as well. Also why people like Gordon Brown have come forward reporting Mandelson and saying these are my concerns. There is a huge ripple effect in regard to this story that is going to happen in regard to certain individuals. Now, you raise an interesting historical point if you say for 400 years. Many of us remember the sad death of Lady Diana Spencer, who was the former wife of King Charles. We remember her death. 1997, I remember driving around Parliament Square, seeing the piles and piles of flowers on the eve of her funeral. At that time, there seemed a disconnect between the royal family and how the public were actually feeling about this awful tragedy. And in the end, there was screaming to say, why isn't the flag at half-mast? Why aren't we hearing from the royal family? But King Charles has said, no one is above the law. Now, for some of us that could be a bit cynical, we could turn around and say, well, why has he been arrested after all this time? What else is this covering up? Suddenly, things are now being released, and as I said, without seeming repetitive, this also may have a huge other implications in regard to other figures within politics. But it raises a huge issue for people here in the UK who are fed up when we see two-tier justice. We just feel that people at the top of societies of running public office, that they seem above the law. So for some it'd be like, well, has this finally caught up? We don't know. We don't know how this is going to then play out. As you say, he has been interviewed in a police station. We've just seen that picture of him in his in the vehicle trying to lay low as is coming out. So in the next few days, weeks, we're going to see the news just absorbed by this, and the rest of us will then be trying to keep an eye on what is then not being explained, what is then not being brought out into the light, as everything that is in the dark will be exposed. People can't get away with that. In regard to the mood of how the UK feels about that, as I've already laid out. But when people are interviewed, if charges are then brought, then everyone is entitled to a fair trial. I've talked about this over the last couple of days. That is another issue that is being, as I've said, being seriously raised within the UK and even in other parts of the world, as in, where is justice? How much fraud do we have to individually deal with? Why are people able to get away with things? Why are they able to conduct themselves in a particular way? And coming back to the Epstein files, of course, they have emails have exposed things that people have suspected, and then that is out in the light as well. So we will see how this plays out.
Right. And Mark, if I can also get your observations regarding this very rare and very serious offense that or charge that has in fact that they are trying to investigate, misconduct in public office. This has also raised a lot of questions regarding, the vetting process of these royal envoys, because there are charges, reports are stating that he might have leaked sensitive information to people like Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, I mean, there is that chatter out there. I am couching this as saying that there are those accusations. Yes, people are looking at emails, etc., and also, as you rightly pointed out in your opening dialogue, where you talk about Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and then we also have the awful tragedy of Virginia Guthrie, and that must never be forgotten as well. But in this case, it is about, as you say, that abuse of public office and where you then forward information to. E.g., in the Peter Mandelson case, the accusations are that you have then forwarded information to Jeffrey Epstein around the time of the banking crisis 2009-10, and that where it was going to be officially announced that a 500 billion euro investment will then be going into the banking system within Europe in regard to Greece, etc. And that information, the accusation is that information like that, maybe others, will then forward to Jeffrey Epstein to then make financial decisions people thought that would then benefit him. Yes, this is extremely serious, because in America they use that term insider dealing, insider trading. We use that term over here, and people have been up to this for many years. If you look at UK politics, we could go back through, and I'm not going to discuss that, but we could go back through a number of people where we question them, where we absolutely question them and think, right, hold on, why are they doing this? Is this for their own benefit? Let's just quickly segue into this. If you then believe in democracy, and the UK is supposedly a democracy, and on the 23rd of June 2016 you have a vote that you've been given a referendum in regard to coming out of the European Union, and the people that wanted to leave voted in just with a majority of over 1 million, then you would have thought that that vote should be respected. But when you then find that that has been fought against in so many different ways, with duplicity within our own political system since 2016, it then becomes a shock. It raises an issue of what actually goes on within our government services, but what actually goes on within the civil servants in this country. Who is actually making the decisions? Are those decisions to the benefit of the people, the citizens of the UK, or are those benefits for the political elite and the chattering classes, as that phrase says in North London on a regular basis? That is the ethos that is behind this as well, because, and again I say, that is what Andrew is being tried on, being accused of, which is abusing public office, then potentially for his own gain or other people's gain that eventually benefits him. That is what is on the table here. But it's giving you an idea of the mindset that is going on within the UK, and people really upset with, how much fraud do we have here? Are we being respected in regard to a democratic vote here? What is going on behind behind the curtain, as we refer to the yellow brick road there? What is going on here? Are people being, we want people to go into public office. We want We want high standards. We want them to be honest. And many of us have questioned that for a very, very long time. So this is, in my humble opinion, is the pall of all the conversation that is going on. And what it does also, this is the sad thing, it then creates, and worrying thing, it creates a disaffection with the democratic vote process, and you think, well, what's the point of going out and voting?
Absolutely.
To you?
Right. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us on NewsX and explaining that situation to us. With that, we are wrapping up.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
सस्ते वाले दाल मसाले स्वाद हुआ बेकार। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला। MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
लाल रंग इसका अपार, तीखा कम है फिर भी स्वाद। बेमिसाल बेमिसाल MDH कश्मीरी।
MDH कश्मीरी।
MDH
अब आया असली स्वाद।
अब आया स्वाद।
जब स्वाद के पड़े हो लाले, तो MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला डालें। MDH का चंकी चाट मसाला।
MDH
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर। MDH गरम मसाला, असली मसालों से भरा हूँ मैं,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Deep Dive with me, Shivani Singh, and today we dive into a landmark advancement in India's defense architecture. INS Aridaman, the Indian Navy's newest nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, soon to be commissioned as a key pillar of the nation's strategic deterrent that will strengthen India's nuclear triad. Aridaman represents not just a new vessel, but a major leap in India's ability to ensure confidence in deterrence and second strike capability in the increasingly contested waters of the Indo-Pacific. The vessel reportedly entered the final stages of trials in December 2025, with Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi announcing the submarine would be commissioned soon. The expected time frame is between April and May of this year, when the third Arihant-class submarine will join the Indian Navy's fleet. So what exactly is the INS Aridaman? It is the third indigenous nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, or an SSBN, built by India under its Advanced Technology Vessel project at the Shipbuilding Center in Visakhapatnam, part of the Arihant class that in fact is what we are talking about, Arihant class submarine, and this will soon join the Indian Navy. This is in fact something that will be in the final stages of productions. Let's in fact also talk about how this is part of the Arihant class that began with INS Arihant and continued with INS Arikat. Now at around 7,000 tons submerged displacement with an overall length of approximately 130 meters, Aridaman has been designed with significant improvements over its predecessors. INS Aridaman's nuclear propulsion system is powered by an 83 megawatt compact lightweight reactor that has been developed indigenously, a major achievement in naval nuclear engineering. This reactor enables near unlimited endurance underwater, limited in practice only by food supplies and crew rotation rather than fuel. Moreover, stealth is central to its design. The submarine's hull uses acoustic dampening techniques, and it carries advanced sonar suites like the Ushus and Pandechandri, a unified sonar systems enabling superior detection and evasion capabilities beneath the waves. The Ushus is a state-of-the-art integrated submarine sonar suite developed by India's DRDO and manufactured by Bharat Electronics Limited for the Indian Navy. It provides advanced detection capabilities including active-passive surveillance, underwater communication and obstacle avoidance. Panchandri is another advanced indigenously developed unified submarine sonar and tactical control system for the Indian Navy to detect and track enemy vessels, submarines and torpedoes. Then comes the vessel's speed. While not defining its feature, it's not its defining feature, but the vessel's 7-blade propeller powered by a compact light water reactor advocate for strategic patrols approximately 12 to 15 knots on the surface and 24 knots submerged. A trade-off that features stealth and endurance over sprinting to tactical locations. Now, where Aridaman truly stands apart is its missile payload capacity. Equipped with 8 vertical launch system tubes, it doubles the missile capacity of the earlier Arihant class boats. The submarine can carry up to 24 K-15 Sagarika submarine launched ballistic missiles, each with a range of about 750 kilometers, sufficient to cover critical targets in India's immediate neighborhood. Even more strategically significant is the ability to load up to 8 K4 SLBMs, each with a 3,500 kilometer range, which would vastly extend India's reach into the wider Asian region. Analysis also anticipate compatibility with the future K5 missiles, projected to have ranges between 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers, expanding India's sea-based capacity into deep strategic theaters. These missiles, armed with conventional or nuclear payloads, transform Aridaman into a potent platform for second strike deterrence, that is, the ability to respond decisively even after absorbing a first nuclear strike. So where does INS Aridaman fit into India's nuclear doctrine? India has long emphasized credible minimum deterrence and no first use. But the value of such a policy rests heavily on survivability, the assurance that retaliation is still possible even under attack. Here's where SSBNs like Aridaman matter the most. Unlike land-based missile silos or aircrafts, submarines are inherently difficult to detect and target. Their mere existence under the oceans complicates any adversary's planning because they can't be neutralized easily in a sudden first strike. With the induction of Aridaman, India will have 3 operational SSBNs, Arihant, Arighat and soon Aridaman. For the first time, this makes the goal of continuous at-sea deterrence far more attainable, forming a crucial strategic shield that ensures at least one nuclear-armed submarine is always hidden somewhere in the oceans, ready to retaliate if needed. The broader Indo-Pacific strategic environment is one of intensifying maritime competition. China in particular is rapidly expanding and modernizing its submarine fleet. Notably, Pakistan is also expanding its underwater fleet with Chinese-built submarines, reportedly eyeing 8 advanced Hangar-class diesel-electric attack submarines from China under a $5 billion 2015 deal to bolster its naval capabilities. In this context, Aridaman strengthens India's position in the region. It boosts deterrence against both immediate neighbors and larger powers, complicating calculations in New Delhi's favor, and securing the undersea domain has also driven partnerships with like-minded navies such as Australia and others under emerging frameworks of maritime security cooperation. Perhaps equally important is what Aridaman says about India's technological maturity. From advanced nuclear reactors to indigenous missile systems and stealth sonar suits, the submarine reflects India's growing self-reliance in critical defense technologies, a pillar of the broader Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. Reports place INS Aridaman's indigenous content at roughly 75 to 90%, and the story does not end here. India is already planning further. SSBNs, including the larger S5 class, which promise even greater displacement, endurance and missile reach, part of a long-term roadmap to future undersea dominance. As this vessel joins the fleet in the months ahead, its silent prowl beneath the waves will speak loudly of India's resolve to defend its interests and uphold stability in an era of great power competition. Joining us to discuss this further is Captain Shyam Kumar, former Navy officer. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for speaking to NewsX. So, if we can talk about INS Aridaman. Obviously, it has quite new features as compared to the earlier Arihant class submarines. We are seeing a wider reach, we are seeing more endurance, and we are seeing a stealth capability that outclasses its previous types. How are you looking at Aridaman, in fact, bolstering India's continuous at-sea deterrence?
Thank you, Shivani. Jai Hind, Shana Varuna. It is very important for India to maintain a credible deterrence through a regular patrol at strategic locations of Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, and even beyond to Indo-Pacific scenario. And in that regard, to maintain a sea denial capacity, which is to carry out a surveillance at the right points such as choke points or the slocks, and affect the sea lanes of communication as required, because we know that most of the cargo and oil flows through Indian Ocean in our areas of interests. So aircraft carrier one side for sea control, and submarines with sustenance, surprise and survivability, all three together. The nuclear submarines are an important part of any naval fleet, and therefore India has been wisely putting up efforts in the advanced technology vessels ATV under the ship SBC, that is Visakhapatnam location of the shipyard, where we are building these SSBNs. That is the submarines which are powered from nuclear reactors and also has the missile carrying the nuclear tips. So India has got now Aridaman, Arihant, Arikhat and Aridhaman, which is being commissioned. It's very, very coincidental that we are going to commission it probably close to the anniversary of Operation Sindoor this year in May sometime. And this will be the third, which will be going to maintain a continuity of deterrence patrol at sea. As you said, it has got larger dimensions, it has larger capacity, it has got larger sustenance, and it can remain at sea for either the strategic patrol or for the second strike capability, or for the escort of the aircraft carrier fleet, the force, which is also very important. Underwater speed, the surface speed, the 50-meter depth firing capability of surface to the SRBMs, that is subsurface launched ballistic missiles, covering most of the part of Asia and beyond, and not limited to Arabian Sea or staying in the area here, but it can go anywhere and remain in a surprise mode and carry out a firing as required. So one submarine at a time will remain at sea hereafter from this year onward, which is a very, very important part and a crucial deterrence. India is coming into a crucial deterrence elite club of countries which maintain such kind of posture. And with the growth of India's submarine fleet, we will be able to take on to the largest of the navy, such as even Britain or France. So I feel that this is very important investment into the strategy, into the security of our areas of interest, and maintaining a naval posture beyond the shores now into the Indo-Pacific scenario, and affecting the requirements as and when at the advantage opportune situations when it arises. With the policy of no first use of nuclear power, these are the third dimensions of nuclear capability of India, and only 6 countries of the world has such capabilities. Now we are into that and in a sustained mode. Over to you, Shivani.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, Captain Kumar. With that, we are wrapping this up.
समान नागरिक संहिता हमारी बेटियां माता और बहनों के गरिमापूर्ण जीवन का आधार बने। यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड से लोकतंत्र की स्पिरिट को मजबूती मिलेगी। संविधान की भावना मजबूत होगी। किसी से भेदभाव नहीं, हर कोई बराबर।
प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की दूरदर्शी प्रेरणा और मुख्यमंत्री श्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी जी के सशक्त नेतृत्व में उत्तराखंड ने इतिहास रचते हुए देश का पहला राज्य बनने का गौरव प्राप्त किया, जहां समान नागरिक संहिता यानी यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को प्रभावी रूप से लागू किया गया है। ये पहल राज्य में संवैधानिक मूल्यों को सुदृढ़ करते हुए समानता, सामाजिक समरसता और महिला सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में एक दूरदर्शी और प्रभावी कदम के रूप में स्थापित हुई है। इस ऐतिहासिक कानून के सफल क्रियान्वयन का 1 वर्ष पूर्ण होने पर उत्तराखंड सुशासन, समान अधिकार और जन विश्वास की उस यात्रा का उत्सव मना रहा है जो एक संकल्प से शुरू होकर अब एक व्यवस्था में परिवर्तित हो गई है। इस पहल की नींव मुख्यमंत्री अधिकारों और वरिष्ठ नागरिकों के हितों के संरक्षण पर विशेष ध्यान दिया गया है, जिससे इसकी सार्वभौमिक स्वीकार्यता, प्रशासनिक दक्षता और जन विश्वास को नई मजबूती मिली है। कानून के सफल क्रियान्वयन हेतु 10 दिनों से भी कम समय में 8,500 से अधिक अधिकारियों तथा 7,500 से अधिक कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर संचालकों को प्रशिक्षित किया गया है। इसके साथ ही सहायता एवं तकनीकी परामर्श के लिए राज्यव्यापी मॉक ड्रिल का सफल आयोजन किया गया। इसके परिणाम स्वरूप 1 वर्ष में राज्य पोर्टल पर लगभग 5 लाख आवेदन प्राप्त हुए, जिनमें से 96% का औसतन 5 दिनों से भी कम समय में निस्तारण हुआ। पंजीकरण की गति में उल्लेखनीय वृद्धि हुई है, जहां प्रतिदिन औसतन 1400 से अधिक पंजीकरण दर्ज किए जा रहे हैं। संवेदनशील एवं उत्तरदायी शासन का परिचय देते हुए सरकार ने जनता की आवश्यकताओं के अनुरूप नियमों में समय समय पर आवश्यक संशोधन भी किए, जिससे यूसीसी कानून को और अधिक समावेशी, व्यवहारिक तथा जनहितकारी स्वरूप प्रदान किया जा सके। विकसित भारत 2047 के विजन के अनुरूप विकसित उत्तराखंड की दिशा में समान नागरिक संहिता एक महत्वपूर्ण पहल है, जो समानता और न्याय को प्रशासनिक प्रक्रियाओं में व्यवस्थित रूप से समाहित कर रही है। समान नागरिक संहिता, समानता द्वारा समरसता।
अगर आप बनना चाहते हैं एंकर या फिर आप में है जुनून एक तेज तर्रार न्यूज रिपोर्टर बनने का, तो आप ज्वाइन करें।
Hello and welcome. In a horrifying incident that has shaken Gurugram, a 3-year-old girl was allegedly raped, murdered and buried in a shallow pit after being taken nearly 4 kilometers away from her home while she was playing outside. Amada Pratap Singh, that's our big focus this hour. Police now have arrested a 24-year-old neighbor in connection with the crime, who later allegedly confessed to the crime. He reportedly led officers to the location where the body had been buried. Investigators say the accused, a native of Bihar's Supaul district, worked at a manufacturing firm in Gurugram and lived in the same building as the victim's family. He was known to the child and would often play with her. A case has now been registered under Section 103 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Section 6 of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. The incident comes even as Haryana police recently claimed an overall decline in crime across the state. Despite official data indicating a decline in crime, the Gurugram case has sparked outrage and concern over child safety, especially in residential neighborhoods. The case is only the tip of the iceberg, as a large majority of child rape cases are not reported to the police, while children regularly become victims of other forms of sexual assault too. The big question also that arises is, why is there then a rise in minor rape cases? Dr. Jayanti Datta, clinical psychiatrist, is joining us live. Brinda Dige, social activist, is also live with us. Shamshavi Shrine, Supreme Court advocate, joins us live. Dr. PSV Rao, consultant surgeon, Manipal Hospital, Hebbal, also is with us on the broadcast. Let me make a start with you first, Shamshavi Shrine. Is it time then that such cases are fast-tracked? Is it time that such cases are made examples of? What is the law currently that this accused now who's been arrested will face prosecution under, and is there a need to further strengthen the law?
No. The law is already quite strong in this matter, wherein it is said that
Shamshavi Shrine, can you hear me?
yes. So the law in this matter is that if you are under the age of 12 years, and the person is raped, so the sentence in the matter would be minimum 20 years, which could extend to life imprisonment. Life imprisonment means till the natural death of that person, and in different cases it can also be death. So the punishment is there. So how to curb such kind of matters is that there need to be one thing that I actually believe is that castration is something that should come. If there is a chemical castration or a castration of a different form, which would be a bit more stringent, that could be a way to mentally tell these psychopaths that you cannot touch a person, especially a child, a vulnerable person who would not be able to tell his or her grievance to anyone. So this is something where I think that it should change. The law should change here. But going back to the laws that are there right now, it is quite stringent. Yes, what should be done is that there should be a proper a court wherein the speedy trial should happen. Speedy trial is a major problem in such kind of matters, that not every court is dealing with the matters in a manner that it should be dealt speedily. It takes time, it takes years in many matters, that the matter keep on lingering around, and such kind of people with such kind of mindset, their mind actually becomes that, oh, nothing is going to happen and we are going to be out on bail in just 1 or 2 years and all. So things need to change in that manner. But if you ask that why such kind of reporting is happening more, I mean, why such kind of matters are actually coming more, the reason is that it's been happening from ages. Childs have been a victim of rape from ages, but the laws has changed. So now, as per the POCSO Act, the onus of reporting of the crime has fallen on everyone's shoulder. So in case a doctor who is checking on a child, and that doctor comes to know that the girl child or the boy child has been sexually harassed, or sexually touched them, so that case has to be reported by the doctor,
yes,
or the parent or the male. So that has changed, and because of that, a lot of cases has been actually coming up, and the reporting has increased. But
right, Dr. Jayanti Datta, let me also bring you in here, because the fact is, we must understand what kind of depraved mentality exists which would make someone rape and murder a 3-year-old girl.
See, we've been asking for fast-track court ever since Nirbhaya Kand. It took us 8 years to bring them to the gallows, right? But nothing has changed, unfortunately. Everybody understands the vulnerability. We have had Pradyum murder case. We have had number of such cases, and the punishment, where is the punishment? I have not seen a visible penalty. You have to bring this onto the media. Every day we hear about the rape, we have heard about the brutalization of our children, but we have not, from the days on that Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, where is the Beti Bachao system? The Betis are raped everywhere. They are murdered, they are brutalized. Imagine 24 years old boy, he rapes her and then kills her and then puts her in the kind of empty plot. And police, what it does, it goes, it finds out, and then they go to the court. There is no fear. Let me tell you one thing. My experience working with the criminals, I have seen, the criminals understand only one thing. I would seek capital punishment, because even if you do the castration, like my previous spokesperson said, that might put in more of a psychic kind of a thing in these kind of perpetrators, and they might indulge more in violence, because ab to mere saath to ho gaya jo hona hai. I don't want that kind of a thing. I would plead that you should have, in spite of POCSO, we haven't come across any this kind of visibility of penalization of the perpetrator. You should bring it onto the media, and there should be a fast kind of a punishment. You should not, you see the murders are happening, rapes are happening, but the rapists are not punished. That is what has to be done. I would seek capital punishment plus the seizing of the property and the money, because I believe these kind of people, who have this kind of criminality in their psyche, the families come to know about it. They suspect these perpetrators because they always have one or two instances where they must have misbehaved. I think the family has to be involved. Now you see what is happening. They are snatching away the car key from the parents. I think it should have been done long back. If there is a rape, there is a murder of the child, I think the family ought to take on the the brunt. You should not only go for capital punishment, it should be fast track court, and maybe within a month's time you should bring out the punishment visibly. The visibility is a must if you want to stop this kind of perpetrator. Now all these years, unfortunately, in Delhi also, people are disappearing, children are being kidnapped. I remember from the Nithari days that we wanted the safety, we wanted the fast track court. Nothing has happened, nothing has changed. Rather, the kidnapping and the brutalization of our children is on the increase. So I think it's high time. Unfortunately, as long as we had a different party, ruling Delhi, we never heard of such kind of brutalization, not to this magnanimity. Now we have the center and the capital being ruled by the same party. Where is that punishment? Where is that safety for the women and the children? It's not there. It's very unfortunate. Only the media, kudos to media, congratulations and thanks to you. Only media brings it out and then it dies out, We don't see any punishment. Nothing has changed. It has worsened ever after Nirbhaya Kand. I've been a front runner in the Nirbhaya case also. Nithari Kand also, we've been talking about it. Now this is on the increase. Now earlier, you could have a couple of things, couple of cases. Now it is rampant. It is happening everywhere. 800 plus cases are reported where the children...
Binda DK, that's the unfortunate aspect that, these sort of cases continue to rise while, yes, Haryana has seen a decline in minor rape cases. Still, this is a very concerning development, and overall across the country, we've been seeing incidents rising involving minors. What should be done to rectify this situation, and why do you believe this is happening suddenly?
Like the earlier panelists pointed out, this is not sudden. It has been happening, and for too long, we have not talked about it, because the entire honor of the family was made to rest and the burden placed on the girls and the women. So no talk about it anywhere. Incest has always been there. Neighbors, uncles, other people in the community doing these things has been there. But it has increased. And why has it increased? Because our films, our OTTs and the social media have glamorized sexual assault, sexual violence. And this glamorization has continued, and censor boards have not done anything about it. So that's one part of it where this thing is getting normalized, where it is that, these things can happen. This happens everywhere. It happens in other countries. Stark at the other side of the end of the spectrum is we will not talk about sexual assault, rape, and violence. This is not done in our world. We are all people who follow a certain sanskriti. In that sanskriti, nothing like this happens. If it does happen, then the child provoked, the woman provoked, she tempted, the child tempted. And here, the 12-year-old child, in the previous case, a 9-month-old child, in another case, a 2-year-old child. What temptation and provocation that can be. So, this language needs to be ripped off our vocabulary, temptation, provocation. Courts also use this. Third, it is time for politicians and the bureaucracy, the state, to take accountability of this, to say that we are a deeply patriarchal society. We don't give space to people to come out and report. And if they do report, it is by the end, the child is dead, the child is no longer there, all kinds of finality. Nothing can come out of it. We are talking about justice, and probably we may or may not get the procedural justice. But how do you prevent it? To start educating our children. Even today, parents don't want this education to be given in schools. Religious leaders are against education. Community leaders are against education. Politicians are against this education. If you and I don't give this education and awareness to our children to keep themselves safe, then we are just pushing them